All right, you're welcome back. It's still AM Chat, and now we are in our discussion segment. And we have two professionals in the construction industry joining us this morning to look at this issue of incessant building collapse. We have joining us today Mr.Olayemi Shonubi, who's the former chairman, Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Lagos State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for
Good to have you on your program.
Thank you very much
All right.
for inviting me.
And we also have Mr. Makinde Ogunleye, who's also the former chairman, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Lagos State. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome. Wow, two professionals.
Yes, we're having a double barrel discussion this morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, in the case of building collapse, it's becoming like a recurring decimal in Nigeria. What is the main issue really? Is it that our builders or whoever is involved in the construction of building, they're not actually following the requisite standards, or what?
There are so many factors. But the underlying factor, as far as I'm concerned, still boils down to corruption.
Corruption, how so?
Now, before you commence with building, you are supposed to get a building permit from the requisite town planning authorities. And then once you get that, during the course of construction, there are supposed to be some monitoring. But what you find that will happen is that, well, in some cases, not in all cases, the necessary monitoring is not being carried out. Either by virtue of the fact that when the monitoring officer goes to the site, is given a tip, he looks the other way. Or, in case of Lagos in particular, where you have so many sites and you have fewer staff to monitor the sites. That's why I said there are so many factors. Corruption is there, the fact that you don't have enough staff in the Ministry of Environment, Physical Planning.
Or control, or LAPSCA?
Lagos State, Building Control Agency, LAPSCA, to monitor all the sites we have in Lagos. But aside from that, over the years, we have this key group in the industry, the artisans.
Okay.
The level of training for the artisans have been on the lowest level.
Do they even receive any training at all?
Well, no. Well, because in those days, you used to have technical colleges. After your secondary education or even primary education, if you are found not to be that, your IQ is not, does not merit going to the university, you go into technical college to learn a trade, bricklaying, carpentry, and what's not. But over the years, you find out that everybody want their children to go to university. So, and we neglected that part of the industry. So invariably, the people who are there now, well, the other ones have gone. I mean, they are aged, and then they left nobody, because some of them, they even train some of their own children. But then we also have this bit of it. That's where even this corruption comes in. The average young fellow is interested in making money fast. So rather than sit and learn and know the trade, all he wants is just to make money. So he goes from one place to the other without really learning the essence of the trade, about the block laying or the masonry or whatever. So invariably, these are the people that we now push on the average developer. Because if you look at, hardly would you go to a site being done by the expatriate firms and you hear incidences of collapse. Even though, once in a while you hear, because apparently, like I said, you still have some challenges. We still have some challenges. I don't want to go into everything.
Yeah, I think he should, Mr. Ogunleye too should share his views on this same question with us.
Okay, thank you. I believe we have the strong institutions. We don't have strong institutions, and we fail to follow our process. There are established processes that in a community there must also be a plan designating areas for certain uses. There will be infrastructural plan showing areas that are water catchment, area where they have various soil capacities, where you cannot build certain level of structures. Then this must be followed. So if there are no plans, people build anyhow. Because the fault is not that of government alone. we as citizens too will contribute. Professionals contribute. All of us, developers contribute. In other countries, we found out that most of the construction takes place by, done by corporate bodies. So when you enter a community or a neighborhood, you see the sign of greenery and every houses looking alike, and there is usually no problem. But here, you find out that we don't have those structure in place. Everybody just venture into building. Like in Lagos Island and Ebutimeta and all those areas, you see developers that have no knowledge of building. They only have money. So you just call artisans to start constructing. And if there are problems, you either settle people or you find other means of carrying out development. I think when I was in service, you stop a developer during the week. By the time you get there, from between Friday and Monday, you find out the deck is up, it's in place, and there are several. So I believe the problem goes beyond just blaming one set of group of people. It is a global thing that affects the government to put the right process in place for our established institutions to be strong. Because if there is no sanction, people will not obey law. So if somebody that is developing an illegal structure, there's only stopping the government to stop them and demolish the structure so that they comply with the normal process. But here we shy away from using the big hammer. And that has encouraged a lot of people to keep on building without
cut corners.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Shonubi, you are part of the NIQS, and I know your agency, your institute rather, has done a whole lot of advocacy and all of that as regards this issue of building collapse. But one major issue that still remains is that of materials, substandard materials and all that, and I'm sure it has some level of way of affecting impact on this issue. So what has the NIQS done specifically as regards that aspect?
Well, there is little we can do in the sense that we don't control the prices. And as a matter of fact, let me even say here that in the coming months, we are going to even witness increasing prices.
Why is that?
If you check the list of the 41 items that the federal government has listed as not valid for foreign exchange on the official forex market, which means if you want to import those items, you have to go to the black market. You find most of the key materials you use in construction there. You have tiles, vitrified tiles, you have iron rods, you have doors. So, except cement. Well, cement is on it, but of course, because you have a lot of manufacturing companies already into cement manufacturing. I thought what the government should have done, or CBN should have done, was what government did with cement. They got the stakeholders to sit down, identify major stakeholders who are already into production, gave them import licenses or quotas, not licenses, quotas, that was in ratio to their production capacity, and gave them a timeline within which they will stop importation. I want to believe that the same thing could have been done with all these other industries, because the excuse of the CBN governor was they want to encourage local production. It's good to have local production. But as I said, it will amaze you to know, if you speak with an average Nigerian engineer, they will tell you that they don't design using the Nigerian produced steel, iron rods.
But why is that?
Well,
that's substandard, or they just don't believe in our quality.
Our phobia for Nigerian making.
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't want to use the word substandard, but you see, they are scientific, they do analysis. And then for every building, for instance, for a structure that is going right up, there are a factor of safety, a factor that takes care of the wind load and all of that. And then the steel itself too, by the time you carry some tests on them, you find out that they also are supposed to give you certain yield, constants. And that is what they use to design. But in most cases, from what I've learned from most of them, the steel produced in Nigeria, that constant is for a particular batch of steel. You don't have it constant in all of them. If you can get a certain, you get a certain figure for this, you get a different figure for that. And that makes it difficult for them to have a viable structural design. And that's just the reason. But now that is one of those items that have been banned by CBN. And my fear is this. you have a design, a structural design that has been done based on using imported steel with certain constants, and then you're now using local steel, same design, arrange the same way. Because maybe if you are using local, there are different ways you arrange your steel such that you make up for the difference in the constant and all of that. But now, you now have a design that was all based on imported whatever, and then you now use local. It's a recipe for structural failure.
All right, now, Mr. Ogunleye, as a town planner, you too, what part or what role does a town planner actually play in construction and ensuring that also these issues of building collapse is nipped in the bud?
Okay, first of all, we carry out what we call a land use plan. We prepare a layout for a small area or a master plan, a social plan for a large city. When you are preparing a layout for a small area like a scheme, like Lekki phase 1, like Ogba, they're supposed to be distributed to use it within the layout, that it will sustain the community. And within that, we make specifications as to the use of every plot in relation to the roads provided. We provide it's a residential layout, provide the residential use, provide auxiliary uses, school sites, open spaces, refuse disposal, plot, water treatment plant area, etc. In addition, prepare what we call an approval order. We specify what individual order should comply with. That is the density, how many units you expect in an area, what are the height of the building expected in an area, what is the occupancy ratio in an area, so that you don't put too much stress in the stage infrastructure to operate within the particular estate. But in fact, each estate must have a target population, and that will determine whether you have a primary school or a secondary school or other facilities. These are the areas where, if you comply with the production of approval order on an estate, it's more likely for issues of building collide to arise, because the structure must have been considered, the drainage pattern must have been considered, the other uses that are necessary to sustain that environment must have been considered. And these are the areas where planning comes in. But where we come in is not where you start seeing structure. It's like it's land surveyor comes in, surveys, breaking out the sheet, and then based on the prepared plan. And this plan we have prepared may not be manifested when you are just going about an area, but you are going to be seeing them when buildings are coming up. And this is why they subject anything that is done within the layout into an approval. And it's the failure to comply with those approvals that are the basis causes of most of the building collapse in our state.
And then if we have such professionals and such plans on ground to actually be able to monitor building and put things in the right perspective, really, why are things failing? I know you say corruption again. Yeah. It something comes back to corruption.
The bottom line, well, then you have the corruption aspect. You also find there's this other aspect that an average Nigerian does not usually want to pay for services. If you have a little headache, rather than for you to go to the doctor and get whatever, you look for your cousin. You look for your cousin or your friend who is a doctor who will give you a prescription. You might even be angry with him for not giving you the Panadol. Rather than for you to take that prescription and go to the chemist to buy the prescribed drugs, you would rather he also gives you that for free. It's the same thing. And unfortunately, like I always tell people, it's only somebody that has an extra that will think about building. If you are still managing somehow, I mean, trying to keep your family together in terms of providing for their daily needs, maybe building will be the last thing on your mind. You understand? But before you can think about building, then you have put something aside. But then, despite that, you find out that the average developer does not usually want to pay for services. And that is one of the major and the critical problems. And why I also say that is this. You go to some areas, for instance, you go to Butemeta. The land there looks so fun. But originally, all that area you have high water table, the soil, the density there cannot carry a multi-story development. So for you to even do any development there, you are expected to do soil test, soil investigation, to know the bearing capacity of the soil. But what do you find will happen? Because somebody comes there and he sees that the road there is firm, the soil is firm, a commission, whatever, maybe a draftsman, not a trained professional. Because you probably give the guy maybe 50,000 or 150, the guy is happy, he goes and does something, and they throw you something for approval. And then they get to site, they start building. Whereas the first thing they should have done was to conduct soil test, soil investigation, to find out the bearing capacity of that, of the land.
It can carry the structure.
Yeah, the bearing capacity of the land, on which basis they will now do the design, the structural design. Because that also adds to part of the whatever. Because there are so many areas in Lagos to get to today, because over the years, the soil there has farmed up. The tendency for you is to believe that, it's a farmland, you can just do the normal column and whatever. Whereas maybe what you might need, not even rafts, maybe a pile, particularly if you are going like 4 or 5 floors.
Okay, I would want us to talk. I don't know if we have time. We'll go for it. Oh, yeah. We'll come back from this, but I want us to talk about the effect of the synagogue trade of all nations. What lessons you have learned out of that, and we'll take that after this break. Stay with us.
Music.
Hey, when was the last time you called your mother? Recently, right? But when was the last time you called the rest of your family? Or your friends from school? Now what about the neighbors? The ones you grew up with in your neighborhood? There's a saying, it takes a whole village to raise a child. Which is why, with Easy Life from Etisalat, it's only 11 kobo per second to call over 160 million Nigerians. When you get on Easy Life, you enjoy a flat tariff of 11 kobo per second to all networks with only a 5 naira daily access fee. Because in Naija, we're all one big family. With Easy Life, you can call anyone. Actually, you could call everyone in Nigeria. Hey, how you doing?
Etisalat, now you're talking.
Hi, welcome back. It's still AM Chat on NITP. We're talking about building collapse and its effects on the economy. We still have our guests, Mr. Shonubi and Mr. Ogunleye. But just before the break, I wanted us to talk about the effect of building collapse on the nation's economy as relates with other nations. A case in point is the building collapse of last year that was just everywhere, that of the Synagogue Church of our nation. What effects economically does building collapse have in Nigeria?
Well, you look at it from different perspectives. Economically, you look at a family that's lost a loved one. Most times when you have a building collapse, usually the workers that are on the site are usually the first set of casualties. And you can imagine that those same workers have families that they provide for. They've gone there to earn their daily wages so that they can pay. I mean, they can take care of their families. Now, with that, their families will be left with nobody to provide for them. Unfortunately, well, this is a country that most of those people in that category don't pay tax. Otherwise, I would have said there will be loss of income to government from taxes. And if you look at the particular case you mentioned, the Synagogue of All Nations, unfortunately, the government will not have made money because churches, being a charitable trust, are not supposed to pay tax. But if you are like, imagine it was a major hotel. There are funds that government will have earned in terms of taxes, sales tax on drinks, food, and what have you. They will have engaged staff that they will pay salaries to, and of course, they pay as you earn tax that will go to government. They will have suppliers who will supply them with foodstuff and stuff like that that they will use to cater for their guests. Those ones will have lost the source, the potential source of income. So many other things. There are so many other, things. That's why you can take it from that perspective. There are so many people. There are so many people that are interwoven in a particular building, depending on what use it is. No matter even the use, the moment, apart from the one that is owned by an individual, even when it's owned by an individual, if life is lost, the economy will miss that person in terms of either the revenue that will have paid as tax, in terms of somebody that sells to him, somebody who that maybe buys foodstuff, clothes, the school that the kids go to, where he pays bills and stuff like that. Those are the potential losses.
All right, I know we're in an era where it's like the in thing for everyone to own their own property, own your own house, and all that. And from our discussion today, I know there are still some inconsistencies around people going about building. But I still want to ask this question. I know Mr. Shonubi said something that it's still all around about corruption. And then he said it's neither government's fault. He said it's government's fault as much as it's the people's fault. Now, in what percentage would you say is government's fault and people's fault in not going through due process, really, in getting our buildings up?
I want to say that it's almost 50-50 because the government must put certain parameters in place that people should follow, and then people must buy into government programs. For example, in the housing construction process, someone wants to build a house. We assume in our own jurisdiction here that you must have money before you own a house. In other countries, it's not so. You don't have to have money. Once you are in a paid employment, you get your mortgage. You pay for 30 years, 25 years. You don't have to bother whether they have. You don't have to bother whether you want to buy block, want to buy iron, you want to buy land. That government is not coming in to solve that problem. So that the institutional, the mortgage institutions, they are not in place. You cannot access it. as workers, as professionals, if you know you are going to get, like the Lagos homes of late, I land 1-bedroom apartment is 9 million something. The other is 2 apartment is around above 12 million. The 3 bedrooms above around 15 million. For God's sake, who are those to buy this? And you want people to come and pay 30%. How can you get 30% to pay? Unless you steal. So that also brings about the issue of corruption. It is a push something, pushes people to get involved in cutting corners so that you look for money to have a property. In other jurisdictions, you want to buy furniture in your house, you want to buy food, you want to buy everything, you pay on a monthly basis or 2-weekly basis as it were. It's not that you must, first of all, go and say, I must have 20 million to go and buy land in Magodo. No. There are corporations that are responsible for this. I think we must solve that problem. Then the public itself, we have revived a culture of I doing things. You want to be alone in the traffic, you don't want to care whether you drive one way, you don't want to care whether somebody is coming. There are rules. We don't want to obey all those little simple rules of saying, let me obey the government, let me ask for information before I purchase a piece of land, let me follow the process, get your permit, build your house according to the permit, and then get other facilities, infrastructures that your house must need anyway, which we don't cater for and bother about in Nigeria. Because in an estate, there are things that you need.
Okay, but then again, let me just throw in this question, because you're talking about things needed. A law-abiding citizen, resident in Lagos, yes. I want to build a house, I want a structure in place, and I've heard of a whole lot of building collapse and all that. There's a whole lot of agencies and all that in Lagos. We have the LAPSCA, we have the physical planning, we have even the Ministry of Environment. So just what do I really need to do?
First of all, you first of all go look for information about the land, ask for where you can buy your land. That's first information. Whether if you want to have a residential development, you must go and buy your land with residential area. Go and buy in CBD here, where they will tell you the land you have bought is not going to be used for it's commercial. No, that is commercial. Commercial, all right. The other way you have to go and learn what we call planning information or land information. You can cost it little or cost little money to get it from the survey office. Go to find the land information. You know whether it's acquired or not acquired. If it's acquired, what are the process? If it's not acquired, what are the process? You have that information before you just jump, before engaging in blind jump. So you do a lot of things, that information that are available that people run away from. As my colleague said earlier, people don't want to pay for services. For merely asking, you save yourself a lot of horrors. People buy land before they start looking for survey for the land. So they don't even know the use. You know whether it's a water catchment area where you cannot bid. So they move there and start bidding. And then if you ask you to build 2 floors or two structure building in a place, you want to build 4. And the land capacity is not strong enough to carry it. And then eventually it collapses. So these are some of the issues that we must deal with if you are looking for an area to develop. You must ask for information from the relevant professionals. And the ministers are there to provide. You can go to land to get land information, you can go to planning to get planning information. We will give you the planning requirements. And once you have this in your hand, it's easier for you to commence a proposal in an area that will not have problems. Yes.
Okay, fine. So let me go back to you, Mr. Shonubi. As regards, I'm still going to stay on the Synagogue Church of All Nations. That, because it was so popular, we had a coroner inquest and all that. How come we don't really have much of that when building collapse in Lagos?
You mean, well,
coroner's inquest.
The reason I think why for the synagogue case the coroner inquest was set up was because we had quite a large number of people, mostly foreigners, that were involved. And I think the Lagos State government felt they needed to assure the people and government of South Africa that there were no foul play in the death of their nationals that were involved. So they needed to investigate and confirm the causes of the death of the people that were involved. And as you will remember, I think it was in the news last week that some top party members from ANC of South Africa came to Lagos to see the governor of Lagos and to thank him for setting up that governor's inquest. So yes, it was a diplomatic move on the part of Lagos State government to be able to at least convince the people, the government and people of South Africa that there were no foul play in the deaths of the national. But it also helped to confirm some of the issues that the professional has already said. And also the fact that for some category of developers, when they are doing their construction, they are able, because of the nature of the activities, able to keep both the government, which is still part of the corruption I mentioned earlier, the government and the relevant professionals away from the activities. You have some churches when they're building, because of where the location of what they are building is kept away from the purview of the public. The LAFCA officials may not even know that anything is happening there, because probably they did not obtain any building permit in the first instance, which was the case in this particular whatever. And the construction was going on. They were using people, maybe members of the church, or maybe even those members were not even used originally. But when the crisis came up, they had to get somebody to come and sign off that, hey, I'm the one in charge. You understand? So yeah, you have cases like this, and it's unfortunate, you know, because in Nigeria we talk about impunity, but we only think impunity happens at the level of government. But then there are some individuals, other church organizations, and so on, who also do things with impunity. You know, how would you embark on construction without obtaining building permit? Why would you keep government officials away? Even after the incident happened, people wanted to go in to even assist, to aid whatever, they were kept away. For me, that shows the level we've done it into in this country.
But then again, should all building collapse in Lagos be investigated?
I believe strongly. I believe strongly, because we can only learn. Because sometimes too, let me also say this, sometimes too, it could also have come from the misinterpretation of the design, the structural design. Maybe the structural designer said the steel should be laid in a particular direction, and then the builder getting there went in another direction. By the time they go there, look at the drawing, and you get a third party to look at the analysis, they might be able to find out where the problem is. But if you don't, because in other clients, that is what they would normally do. They want to investigate, why did this happen? Because we learn. There might have been a design, there must have, that over time had been working perfectly. Then maybe for a particular location, it will not work, but you may not realize that. And then you have a collapse. But when you investigate, then you might be able to determine that, okay, sorry, this particular design, yeah, it will work there, but it will not work here. And then subsequently, you can incorporate that, and then you can share that at the professional level. Because from every incident like this, you learn. There are lessons, both for the professionals, both for government, as well as the individuals, the developing entity.
All right, if we continue to have issues like this, Mr. Ogunleye, how much, or how would you define its impact on investors? Because right now we want to have investors come into the country to help develop our economy. If we continue to have issues like this, how do you think the investors would cooperate, or or would it deter them from investing in our economy?
Well, I believe every state, every country endeavors to make sure that its environment is favorable for investment, for living, for everything. That's the main duty of any government. And if there is any issue, like security issue, like collapse issue, Now when we are talking about Boko Haram now, people outside Nigeria don't know whether Boko Haram is in Lagos or in Calabar. When they just see the news, they say Nigeria is Boko Haram everywhere. So also, when there are issues of building collapses in Lagos, they assume the buildings are collapsing in Nigeria. So, government must be in a position to endeavor to put a stop to such unfavorable advertisement. You know, it's highly unfavorable, because it's unfavorable in the sense that you don't want to live in a house where you will not be able to sleep because you don't know whether the building is going to collapse or not. So at least it scares away people. Even we as Nigerians, you want to go and live in Lagos Island, you have to think twice before you go and rent a house on the third floor in Balogun or other areas there, because anything can happen because of the age of the building and the structural stability of the building. So in Nigeria, it sort of scares away investors when you have such negative reports from either in the CNN or Sky News. You just heard that social member buildings have collapsed. Particularly what happened in the synagogue, they assume that when people are dying in Nigeria because of many buildings are collapsing. And it's not just one in a year. You have about 10 times in a year in Lagos at various stages of collapse. And this is not good for the image of Nigeria. And it's not good for good investment.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We've been speaking with Mr. Olayemi Shonubi, who's the former chairman, Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Lagos State, and Mr. Makinde Ogunleye, who's also the former chairman, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Lagos State. Thank you so much for joining our discussion this morning.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for coming. All right.